Welcome to this review of The Flash, this spoiler-filled review of The Flash. Now remember, this is spoiler-filled, so if you do not want any spoilers before seeing the movie, come back and watch this video after you watch the movie. If you're ready for spoilers, if you can handle that, stick around. We should have a little fun. Before we get started, I do want to let everybody know that this is not a movie critic website. This is a commentary and reactions website, so I will admit fully that this is a perfectly enjoyable movie. If you want to go see a superhero movie, this is perfect and right down your alley, essentially. But there's some little things we liked and some little things we didn't like. And I'm here with Bill Couch, and we're going to be talking about The Flash right here. How you doing, Bill?
Doing good, Steven. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing just outstanding. You know, this movie had high expectations by me, mainly because I was looking forward to seeing Michael Keaton play Batman again because I thought I'd never get to see that again. And I do think Michael Keaton was probably the star of that movie, as you would expect.
Right.
But I think it's interesting the way they handled his character arc, and the two Barry Allens just became annoying as the movie went on.
Yes. Yes. Whereas completely opposite with me, I didn't really have any expectations going into this movie. I never really knew much of The Flash. I mainly went to see Michael Keaton as Batman, just for nostalgia's sake, and it did not let me down in the slightest, for that anyway. I did enjoy The Flash as itself as a movie, but and I think we discussed this the other night. He is definitely better as a second tier character instead of a main character in a film, which is why they definitely needed and good thing they had Michael Keaton as Batman, because again, like you said, he basically became the star of the movie, sort of like in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, where Doctor Strange sort of didn't become the main character. It was more Wanda in that movie. It's kind of the same thing with The Flash, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, like I said, it was a perfectly enjoyable movie. And if you enjoy a superhero movie, if you want a good superhero movie, you will enjoy this movie. There's no doubt in my mind. If you are looking for Citizen Kane, yes, you'll be able to pick it apart. I mean, it's not Citizen Kane. The movie has problems. It's obvious to me. One of the things that you notice is, and I don't know if this actually happened, but it feels like after Discovery bought DC and HBO Max and all that was going on, and they decided to go the different direction with James Gunn, all of a sudden, all the Michael Keaton stuff kind of got retconned out of everything. There was supposed to be a Batgirl movie with him in it as well. And he was supposed to be like the father figure of the new reconstitution of the Justice League. But after Discovery got it and they did that James Gunn stuff, I guess they decided they didn't want to go that direction. So this Michael Keaton thing was a one-shot deal. You're not going to see him after this for obvious reasons if you see the movie. But like I said, he stole this movie. If it wasn't for Michael Keaton, I don't know if this movie would have been very good.
Well, no, definitely. Even if you didn't have him as Batman, if you had... well, obviously Val Kilmer couldn't do it, but if you had George Clooney or, somebody else, Christian Bale being Batman, it wouldn't have worked near as well as far as it goes. And a lot of people are going to say, well, they're just throwing that in there to get more people into the theater. It's all fan service. And you know what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with fan service. I mean, it's the reason you go to watch the 5th Indiana Jones. It's the reason you go to watch the 17th Batman movie, is because you might see something from the other Batman movies or from the other Indiana Jones movies that pops up in it. And it all, you're like, oh, I remember that from, the third one or the second one or whatever. You go there to see those things. That's why you see movies like that. And that's why they throw them in there. It's not necessarily just to get people in the seats. It's more to pay homage to the ones that came before it. And, with Michael Keaton as Batman, it definitely did that. And like I said, it wouldn't have had the same effect had you had Christian Bale or, and even though, spoiler alert, George Clooney shows up at the end as Batman, While that was an awesome little, thing, and definitely sets up, another movie, a sequel to The Flash that's going to be interesting if they ever do it. Um, it's fantastic. I mean, but it wouldn't have worked. Michael Keaton was the only choice for it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about some things in this movie we liked and that we didn't like. One thing that I really like, and like I said, spoilers, that if you're still watching this spoiler-based podcast, it's on you. Nick Cage showing up as Superman and fighting the giant spider, the homage to the Kevin Smith Superman movie that never was, that was fantastic.
That was amazing, and I wish they hadn't have spoiled it before the movie. Even though I knew it was coming and I was waiting for it because I'd heard about it, days before I ever went and saw it. I was still giddy as a schoolgirl when I saw it on screen. I couldn't help it. Like, it was, fantastic.
Yeah, it was really, really good stuff. Some other stuff that I really liked in the movie. Obviously, the Michael Keaton stuff and all of the Batman nostalgia, because all of Michael Keaton's toys were that 1990s era technology. It was fantastic. It was really well done. Michael Keaton even pays attention by watching on a laptop that's about 2.5 inches thick. It was fantastic. Very well done.
Even, even still had the same suit where he couldn't turn his head and stuff like that. I thought that was, wonderful. That, he still had the old suit where you have to turn your whole body to look at stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. And, of course, the annoying Barry Allen finds the little laughing bag from Jack Nicholson's Joker in the Batmobile or somewhere around the Batcave. And I thought that was a nice little nostalgic touch, a little Easter egg. And of course, like you said, with Nicolas Cage, but I also like seeing all the other ones like George Reeves and Christopher Reeve and Adam West and all of them. It was just the way they did it. It was just really well done to show all the different, Batman over the years sort of thing. I thought that was very, very interesting, very well done.
Yeah, and just to change the subject real quick, and I don't mean to make this a 1989 Batman review, but in that universe with Michael Keaton as the Joker, that big of a deal since he showed up for a couple of weeks and died.
I mean, when you talk about Batman, you always have to talk about the 1989 Batman. I mean, that's just how it is. You can't get away from it. He might not have been your favorite Batman, or whoever is watching this, it might not have been your favorite Batman. But minus, of course, Adam West, he was in my mind, the best Batman. And you can't talk about Batman of any iteration, be it him, be it Adam West, be it Val Kilmer, be it George Clooney, without talking about Michael Keaton, because he was the original.
Yeah, I realized that the Superman movies happened back in the 70s, but comic book movies were essentially dead during the 80s. And Batman, if Batman 89 doesn't happen, The Flash isn't made. The Marvel Cinematic Universe isn't a thing.
Right.
And it isn't able to be a thing. So I think we do need to recognize how important that movie was. And I do appreciate The Flash kind of going down that rabbit hole. What's some stuff that caught your attention?
Well, again, I kind of went into it blind, which in my mind served me better, because I wasn't looking for anything other than to just be entertained and to see, of course, Michael Keaton as Batman. But for the stuff that caught my, like I said, I didn't really watch any of the Flash TV series or anything like that. So I went in not knowing anything about Barry Allen or how he became the Flash. And the fact that they threw all that into the movie, like how he became the Flash, and then, the lightning and the chemicals and all that stuff. And then how they essentially, spoiler alert, he loses his powers and they have to remake him as the Flash. How they do all that, I thought that was very well done. And I really enjoyed that part of it, because you could go into it not really knowing much about it and still come out not being lost necessarily.
One thing that I enjoyed, or not necessarily enjoy, but I after movies, I tend to get philosophical. And you watch that whole movie and you think, hey, man, that was an entertaining ride. I enjoyed that. And then you realize that Barry's selfishness caused Ben Affleck to be gone and never have existed.
Well, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that enjoy superhero movies that aren't necessarily mad at the fact that the Ben Affleck Batman is going away or has gone away, I guess, in this sort of iteration of the universe. But, you know, it was just a fun ride from start to finish. And yes, it was his selfishness that caused everything. But in the end, you could say that about probably half of the superhero movies, though.
Yeah.
You know,
they made 3 Iron Man movies and 2 Avengers movies based just on that.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Anything Iron Man is nothing but pure selfishness and grandization. So,
well, they are going to. This was the end of the DC extended universe. There will be no more real movies that are based off of what it was. They use this as kind of a nexus point to restart it. They are still going to do Aquaman. I do not know what's going to happen in Aquaman and how they're going to handle that. But they're already planning on recasting. They're already in the process of reading and recasting for Superman. Batman has to be recast as well. It's absolutely a unique time because Marvel's cinematic universe is kind of floundering and failing.
Yes.
DC definitely has an opportunity to make something interesting that people might want to see.
Oh, 100%. This is DC's time to shine now. If they did it right, they could easily slide right in and destroy Marvel if Marvel doesn't get their stuff together. I mean, this is the perfect opportunity for them to do so.
Yeah, I always talk and always joke about it. The one thing that DC had over Marvel, because, you know, Marvel had Spider-Man, but not technically Marvel Studios. They had Spider-Man came later, so they had to get second-tier characters to form their super team. And DC has always had Batman and Superman, and they can always pull that up out of the catalog that everybody knows about. And DC not being able to make a good movie with both of those together, I mean, that's kind of on them at this point. But, I mean, if they ever do it, if they'd have gotten Batman v Superman right and the Justice League right, that'd have made $5 billion.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But again, they fell into the trap that a lot of and even Marvel to a point has been guilty of this. It's put too much before a committee. You know, there's too many hands in the fire creating the thing. And, you know, so you wind up with a muddled mess that could have been something better. And not that Marvel hasn't made a gajillion dollars off of all their stuff, but it's the idea that, like, with Batman v Superman, you know, they could have done it a lot better and made a bajillion dollars on it, but there were too many people tinkering with it, and it ultimately destroyed the product.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, this has been our little review and reaction to The Flash. We saw it on Friday night, wanted to give it a couple of days to kind of marinate, and then we just decided to react to it as well. We're going to be doing Indiana Jones after it comes out. We're going to go see that as well. We're going to start a rewatch of the series 1923 this week, actually. We'll start with episode 1 this week of a rewatch. I know the writer's strike's going on, but it's kind of a short series, kind of a good way to get our feet wet. That'll be the SEC After Dark crew of me and Corey and Jeb and Jake. And we'll check that out and give thoughts because, honestly, nobody's probably watched that series more than me in the country. But we'll see exactly what's going on. But for Bill Couch, I'm Stephen Willis, and we'll see you next time on After Dark Commentary and Reactions.